You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 135 of Central Indiana's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today I'm joined by producer Chris Guffey and my forever co-host, Mr. Dakota Davis.
Today's episode features Mike Guffey, continuing our candidate series following the election in the city of Newcastle. We're going to be talking to Mike about his past in the city of Newcastle, what he's been up to since he graduated from Newcastle High School. Then we're going to get into the issues of the city, talking about the finances of the city, the budget, some land ownership issues, and what he thinks the direction of downtown should be, and if he agrees with the current administration. Then we're going to talk to him finally about what his goals would be if he is elected to office. And then we're going to talk some final thoughts, and maybe we'll have something very interesting for you at the end. So make sure you stick around.
It feels, I know the Star Wars trailer just came out.
Mm-hmm.
I felt a disturbance in the force tonight.
Oh, no.
I feel like my taxes went up.
That's true.
I can sense it.
You just stole my final thoughts.
I can sense it.
Right out
I
from
can
under
sense
me.
it. And
Like
maybe,
he's really good at that, isn't he?
Maybe, just maybe, there will be a...
Sorry, folks. No reason to stick around to the end now.
Stay around.
There might
leave
be,
now.
There might be an appearance. Oh, man. So we got to say thank you to some people. People that help us keep the lights on. The incredible, the amazing, and the...
That's right.
The people, very consistent.
The people over
Christy Avery
on Patreon. Yes. If you donate $50 or more a month, then we give you a shout out on each episode. Those folks are Christy Avery, Craig DaCosta, and Jonathan Phillips. You, listener, can join at any level right now at patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty. We also have some merchandise stores available if you don't feel like supporting us monthly, but you want to help keep the show rolling. Those are tchip.com/BHOL1, 2, and 3.
That BHOL3, I wore that last week. If you check the tape on episode 135, I ordered it in black in the long sleeve.
I pulled out my old trusty hoodie, and I have a pink stain on the hood, so I think I have to get one.
Going to get a BHOL3, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, probably a number 3.
Yeah.
Give me the old number 3 in black.
You going to get it? You going to supersize it?
Probably not.
Add some fries.
Yeah.
Pull around to the second window, and Chris will have your total.
And Diet Coke, please, Chris.
Yeah.
No problemos.
Actually, he wants a Jameson and Coke.
Yeah.
You're not. You didn't get with the game with. Everybody else wore some sort of a red shirt. Mike looks very dapper in his black and white and red checkered shirt, and I got the instead of the check, I've got more of the plaid, but the same thing going on. And you're just repping Jameson Irish whiskey.
There's some red, and it says John Jameson
okay,
Son in
Dakota.
red.
You're
fine.
Thanks, Mike.
Are you Irish?
No.
You just like their whiskey?
No, I just prefer Irish whiskey over any other kind of whiskey or brandy or anything like that.
Well, we're not French. We don't like brandy.
Yeah. I had an interesting beer this past weekend. It was from Sam Adams. This should have belonged in the Patreon portion, but I'm going to tell it anyway. It's a $300 beer. It's 28% alcohol by volume, and it comes in this crazy-looking bottle. I put a picture of it on my Facebook page. You can look at it, and it tasted just like a cognac.
I did see that. I was kind of hoping you were going to save it for us, and we were going to try it on the show.
Well, it's not. It wasn't mine.
You didn't find it. You just got to try it.
Well, there's a guy down there that a friend of in our group, and he works for Sam Adams, so he was able to snag a bottle. I didn't pay $300 for it.
Well, I just thought you had stupid money at this point in your life, and you were just doing the crazy. Mm-hmm. I had just heard something about it like 2 days before, and then you had it in your hand. I'm like, oh my god, here goes Dakota just showing off,
dropping that big money. Yeah. I'm not paying $300 for. I think it's 24 ounces of beer. It's crazy.
Ooh. So I took a picture of the Mad Paddle Brewery. I went down Saturday to Madison over the last weekend. and took a picture of their menu and their brewery, and they have the state of Indiana requirements section. And it's, they, on their menu, it's, they have beef bouillon because they have to have a soup, and that was $21. They have microwave coffee for $17, powdered milk for $16, and the peanut butter sandwiches are $13. And there's a little blurb on in their menu that says Indiana is the land of arcane liquor laws. We are required to serve soup, coffee, and milk alongside your beer. To poke some fun at this craziness, we offer you the highly sought after, and there you go. And then it says you can bring food from home if you want to, or from outside. We don't really want to sell it to you. So it was fantastic. So I shared that. Our friends at We're Libertarians reshared it, and it went to like 15,000 people on Saturday. So a lot of fun, a lot of content. So all right, enough of the banter. I think we've demonstrated that we're friendly people. Now we should talk to Mike.
That's right, Mike. I scoured your Facebook profile, and this is all the bio I could find that you grew up in Newcastle. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you currently live here?
Currently live here.
Well, we have to ask, because just because you're running for something in the city doesn't mean you live in the city. We've found out.
Oh, I know where you're going.
I think he's going to Westwood.
I understand.
Somewhere around
I've
there.
lived in Newcastle all my life, 58 years.
58 years.
I'll be 59 November 2nd.
Oh.
So
that's a week from Saturday.
Actually, I've lived in Ward 3, 32 years.
Oh, wow.
16 at the current address.
So you've seen everything there is about Newcastle. One of my questions on here for you was, you've seen it all in Newcastle in 58 years, almost 59. What is one memory you have of Newcastle that is just very nostalgic for you?
Oh, wow. I have a lot, but I think one of the biggest that stands out when I was really a young kid at Baker Pool, just being able to, it didn't cost a whole lot of money. And I think I can remember the most I ever paid to swim at Baker Pool was 25 cents. Oh, man, wow. That was,
I feel like a Sandlot peppercorn story is coming.
No, so I mean that's just something, just my childhood.
That's cool. I didn't expect that. I expected something like the cruise-ins and things like that. Well, but Baker Pool, that's a good answer.
I did the cruise-in also. I got a real good story on the cruise-in that came later in the years, but so my wife I'm married to now. This is my second marriage, but this is a good one. But the other one wasn't that bad, but this is a good one. But we'd been out and just running around. I think we'd went to White Castles. That was a big thing that we liked to do when we were dating, go to White Castles, not in Newcastle. We'd always go out, but we were going down Broad Street, and I've got 4 kids, and I got 2 older kids by previous marriage. And I've got the stereo jamming, and I'm 40 years old. Everybody's thinking, this is an old man. So we're going down, and then my son, they're coming up, and they meet us, and I look over and say, "What's up?" Hey, and then all of his friends, "Hey, Big Mike, what are you doing?" So that stands out too, the cruise-ins because of that. But I can remember the cruise-ins, yes. But the Baker Pool, man, I don't know. It was awesome to have.
That's a good answer.
It's the place you'd go,
I
right?
like that.
Yeah.
That's where your memories were made.
It was good to have. A lot of memories there.
So what's your career been? Tell us about how you got here.
Well, actually graduated, didn't go to no college whatsoever. Just started working. Just started working.
The mic helps, yeah.
And just, going on with a living.
Oh, yeah.
I worked in Newcastle at Modern Fold. I think it was 15 years that I had there. I currently work at NTAT. I've been at NTAT for 22 plus, going on 23.
Down in Rushville. Okay.
So just went into the workforce, and
that's great.
Started making.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I always tell people if you don't know what you want to do after high school, then just get a job.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time and money in college, because
I agree.
I've seen it a lot. Seen it play out a lot, and people, they wind up just having to get a job.
And I've even my 2 youngest kids, I've let them know that too. Yeah.
That's just seems like common sense. At least but college is just pushed on you so hard in modern high schools.
Well, there's not much common sense anymore.
Yeah.
So you've been somewhat involved in local politics in the past.
Somewhat.
You've run 8 years ago. You ran for the city council. I assume the same seat.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. What got you motivated then, and what brought you back into this thing?
I just thought it was time for a change. That's what got me motivated back then. That's probably the whole motivation behind it. I felt like we needed a change in Ward 3, in City Council, and then
You're Ward 1.
Ward 1. Sorry.
Maybe it was
Ward
an endorsement. Maybe he thinks there's to be a change in Ward 3. Don't correct the guy.
Hey, are you
Gosh.
endorsing? Let's get this endorsement right now.
Wipe that out. My goodness, what am I thinking? Ward 1, right. So I thought there should just be a change, you know? I mean, am I for someone staying in a seat for years upon years? No, I'm not, you know. But that's what kind of motivated me for that. Man, I had a blast doing it, and I've had a blast doing it this time. I got out, got to talk to people, meet people that I didn't know, and see people that I didn't even think were still living in Newcastle, but they are. So I had a real good time with it. And, of course, I didn't get what I wanted, but I didn't walk away disappointed either. But, you know.
And that was how many years ago? Did you say it was
8 years ago.
8 years ago.
I'm pretty sure it was.
What about this time? Was there like one issue as you were watching Henry County or Newcastle politics?
You got into the race a little later, right? You didn't do the primary. I got in. You jumped into the race,
right?
You know,
and you know, I don't know. I've always been interested in it. Just didn't really. I don't know. Just didn't really get the ump to do it. You know, I kept thinking back. I don't know. But I've always wanted to be in it, and I just felt like this was a good time. You know, this is perfect timing. Everything is kind of fell in place for me. So this might be the good time to do it. And yes, I did get in late. I got a hold of the Republican Party in June. They had to have, maybe I did in May. They had to have a caucus. I went on vacation. While they did the caucus, I wasn't even around. I left and went on vacation.
You left it in their hands.
And that's cool. And they voted me, you know, with no problem. And so here we are today.
So you said that as you've ran for office both of these times, you've really enjoyed the process.
Yes.
And enjoyed getting out and seeing people. Both times that you've ran, has it changed your perception at all of elected officials and
no,
how
not
they work?
really. I mean, yeah, you know, I don't have nothing.
I don't even know what your perception was beforehand. But.
No, but it hasn't changed any at all. I mean, you know,
they're just people. It's always people, right?
Yeah.
It's
just people.
It's folks making the best decisions they can,
right?
You know,
right
with the information you have, and
because I think that changed for me whenever I started getting more involved in county in politics in general. Is just going, oh, these are people, these are neighbors, folks that you see in the grocery store,
right?
They're not enemies of you or me. So
sometimes they like to steal our money,
but yeah, like they did tonight.
No, but yeah, they're just people.
All right,
just like us.
So what other ways are you involved as you've enjoyed?
I've really not been, you know, I've not been on any boards of anything like that. I just try to take things in the city of Newcastle, you know,
just try
to pay
attention, right?
Pay attention, see what's going on.
Has that been because you've been working and, you know, the activities happen, you know, not, I don't know if you're shift work and you're working seconds or you're working days or what.
Days,
some of that,
I mean, I travel a lot, like I said,
with
my job. I actually take care of the quality side, and
nice.
I have customers that I'm in take care of. Toyota, Georgetown. I don't know if you know about the big plant in Georgetown, Kentucky.
Over by Paris.
It's huge.
Yep.
Huge. Over 8,000 people.
Oh,
but
cow.
I take care of, they machine some of our parts. We make mainly Toyota. So, but yeah, I travel a lot.
And you're married. You have kids, like you said. And
right.
Yeah, I get it. Well, not yet, but I will in February.
Tablecloth is down.
He's all wrapped up in it.
Oh no,
wrapped up.
It's stuck. We gotta get this fixed, Jeremiah.
You know, it's something Chris rigged up, I think.
Yeah,
it's true.
I gotta bring in an emergency backup
We'll
chair.
let it be like it is.
Uh-oh.
All right. So So you've been watching have you been attending city council meetings or
Yes.
watching online and
Yep.
and keeping up with that?
Yep.
You've had a chance going to these meetings. What have you thought of the way the process is going and what the current council is doing, and maybe some ideas you have for differences or things they can improve on?
I think it's going okay. The budget, they just didn't talk to everybody, and I feel like you got to get everybody involved, not just a certain group. I mean, yes, we want fire protection, law, services of the law, EMS, but we have also workers that work at the city that we need to take care of also. So I feel like everybody, we have to communicate with everyone.
Yeah, as
Keep everybody in the loop.
whenever we talk to Chris, I think what group of employees did you say their meeting and negotiations wasn't set up until
the city
after?
union.
The city union.
Yeah, the street worker sanitation, sewer, trash, those guys.
Right.
They had not, and I believe probably the park would fall under that union as well, I would guess.
Yes, they're all together.
Yeah. They hadn't. Their meeting wasn't until a week before the second reading.
Right.
Yeah, so the first reading would have already passed before they even got to have a discussion
Right.
about
So
the budget.
that's not right
Yeah.
to me. That's not fair. I mean, you got to get everyone.
So I'm guessing that you were in total support of them killing the budget
Yes.
whenever they found out about
Yes.
that.
Yes.
What do you think about it? It passed at the last meeting, 5-0.
Passed at the last meeting, and again, I don't. I feel like I honestly feel like that all the council should be there when this is voted on. Personally,
It was 5-0. We were
5-0.
missing two members of the council.
Two. Yep. But I don't know why they were missing. That's fine. But I feel like that.
Were they all there for the first reading?
They were there for the first reading. Then Lynn Purdue and Mary Brewington were absent for the second reading, in which they killed it. And then when they brought it back, Lynn and Mary Brewington was also absent the same again.
Okay.
Right.
So everybody had a chance to vote on it, or was present to vote on it one time. For the
Yeah.
final vote, or
Yes.
the last two. It was you had a quorum, but not enough to
Right.
get all the way through.
Right.
All right. So other than the budget process, what else have you seen or learned about the council's influence on the city that you think maybe you could, is one of your reasons why you set you apart and why you should be on the council?
Well, I think you have to listen to your constituents. Really, these people do have a voice. They need a voice. I've had a lot of people that I've talked to when I've been out knocking on doors, and they do tell you things that they think this needs to be done or this needs to be done. And I feel like that this position, you've got to be the people. It's the people that put you there, so you have to you got to listen to them and bring it before the council.
I always feel like you have a platform, right? You've got a platform to speak and make your issues known, and you've got the ability to advocate for things. The last two mornings I've been on State Road 3, which is under construction right now. Right. We've got we've listeners all over the country. So main thoroughfare through our town, 3 lanes northbound, a center turn lane, and 2 lanes southbound. And there's orange barrels blocking all but 1 southbound lane and 1 northbound lane. So the last 2 mornings as I've gotten to Trojan Lane, heading north towards Muncie, seen these 18-wheel trucks trying to turn right off of Trojan Lane and to go north on 3. And we've noticed that now traffic is all pushed to the right lane. So you don't have anywhere out to go. You've got 8 feet or 12 feet of width, and that's it. Well, these trucks can't make the turn. So I was messaging Councilman Dicken today saying, hey, man, you guys, I don't know if NDOT didn't talk to the city or the city didn't talk to NDOT or what's happening.
But you've got discussed.
But you've got
NDOT.
You've got traffic issues that are. This morning I watched a semi try to turn right, and he turned into the center, literally hit two barrels, knocked one into the traffic lane. I had to park my car on the road and move the barrel so traffic could get through. So that's the kind of thing I think the council can have some influence on as well.
Well, NDOT didn't tell the city that they were coming at all. They just showed up.
Yeah.
And they're like,
they just started, and
you got to
that's
deal
how
with
they
it.
knew.
Yeah, you got to deal with it. So
They didn't say anything.
at least that's what we're being told.
Right.
Amazing. It is kind of amazing all the problems that the government of the city of Newcastle has had with NDOT over the past couple of years.
Right. So then they show up, and now you've got trucks that are used to certain routes. So now it's okay. Is the council able to work with the mayor or the streets department to say, hey, we need to change truck routes because you can't make that turn, and you send a truck down there, and the next thing you know, you got hazards where people are,
Right.
people can't get through. Obviously 3 needed work, right? I never, my day job is road construction, and I will never complain about orange barrels being out there because it's my livelihood, and I like to drive on roads at work. Same thing with harvest season right now. I like to eat, so I'm not going to complain about the combines and the plows that are out on the road either. But you gotta work together.
Right.
There's opportunities here
Right. I agree.
for sure.
I agree.
So I don't know. Those are the kinds of things where I know that there's a traffic committee. So are there
Yes.
committees that you'd be interested in serving on traffic or budget?
I don't know what all committees they even have. I'd be interested in a traffic committee, but I'm kind of also on the traffic committee. I think all the councils should be involved because we're representing different wards in town. So,
Yeah, there are.
I feel like everyone should be involved.
there are a couple committees that all the council is involved in. Correct, Chris?
Yeah. Technically, the budget, the entire
Finance committee.
I don't know technically if the whole council's involved in the committee because I know Mark Koger and Jeff Hancock are currently the ones that go to the meetings and represent the council. So maybe we vote to have them represent us. But then like the traffic committee is Hancock, Dickin, and Walden currently.
Right. So it's not
I think it's
everybody.
three.
Not everybody is
Yeah.
involved in those committees.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how they do that.
Right.
I think
don't
it's
know.
probably on a volunteer basis.
But they get the opportunity. You guys get, if you're in that role, you get the opportunity to look at speed limits and traffic speeds.
Right.
Obviously, the whole council votes on, determining if something should be 30 miles an hour or 20 miles an hour, or, if we're going to keep 14th Street open or closed, or if we're going to have stoplights in certain locations. So all opportunities for you if you get on the council.
Well, I hope we don't close no more streets. I live on 22nd Street, and it was closed at the tracks.
Yep.
That was a bad move, just because of the kids walking to school.
Yep.
So, I would, that's why I'm saying I feel like the traffic committee, and I don't know if even the traffic committee was even involved in that. I think that was involved because of the railroad, and we wanted to open up another crossing at Garner Street. So
right.
I thought,
So they had to sacrifice one.
We had to sacrifice 2.
Thornburg Street also got closed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I just think the whole council, as far as the traffic committee, should be involved. That's just
Yeah.
my belief.
And that's where you
Big
start to
deal.
look at, okay, if you're going to do that, do you need to put in pedestrian bridges or pedestrian crossings? We're looking at the Stellar grant, and a part of that, or a big portion of that, is making the community more accessible on foot.
Right.
We heard some big ideas. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? About possibly abandoning one of the lanes on State Road 3.
Yeah, that Jerry Walden mentioned that NDOT had discussed abandoning one of the lanes and making it kind of into a walking lane.
So giving up one of I assume one of the 3 lanes northbound on 3, and then adding a pedestrian and bicycle lane to make 3 more walkable. So there's definitely opportunities out there, or things to be considered. And
Interesting idea.
Yeah, really.
So back to the budget process, I guess one last question there. Is there anything that you would like to see included or done or taken out or anything? If it was up to Mike, the budget's up to Mike, what's like the number one thing you want to change?
Well, and that's some things that I will have to get familiar if I win the seat with that. But I feel like there's some things that we can put in the budget that could help the whole city.
Yeah.
But I also want to see some things done in Ward 1 that is not done. If we go to blacktop roads, just simple. I've had a lot of that discussion with people in my ward. We don't never see none of this, and so
you're saying that your ward doesn't get its fair share of paving dollars?
Yeah, that's that's the way I feel, and that's the way a lot of my constituents feel the same way.
It's a common complaint as we've been out walking for Chris and talking to people is why is there so much focus in this one area of the city whenever my neighborhood
I get that.
looks the way it does. Right. Yeah.
I get that.
So that's very common. It's very
common.
very common complaint that we.
Well, that's an issue that happens in all kinds of cities, right?
Nothing
Right.
against the rest of the city
Right.
or any of the councilmen. It's just, share the love.
Absolutely.
Help us out. We're human beings too, and we.
So, are there parks that you want to see improved in your ward, or certain street projects, or what kinds of things need?
I've
done?
only got Baker Park's actually right at my ward,
Right.
But I have the Lowe's Park, but I don't know. It seems to be pretty updated over there.
Yeah, they've
at
done a
Lowe's
lot of work
Park.
on
There's a
Lowe's
lot
Park.
of good equipment in there, playground equipment. So I don't think none of that really needs
Most of Lowe
doesn't
Park
need
was
much attention.
done by volunteers, correct?
I think Lowe's gotten a lot of attention the last couple of years. Is that-
Yeah. Lowe's got a lot of attention. Hospital Heights got a lot of attention, and then there's what's known as pocket parks. There was one on North Main that a church volunteered their entire Sunday service. They kicked everybody out and said, "We're going to go to the pocket park and we're going to fix it up."
Lowe Park was
That's
in
cool.
pretty pitiful condition though before it got taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But now it looks great. All right. So earlier in the year, we covered it a bunch of times on this show. Mayor York was talking about trying to purchase the Castle Theater, make some type of a venue out of it. And that got us on the discussion of what the proper role of city government is intermixing with real estate. So if you're on the council and all of a sudden something happens with the Castle Theater and it's put to you guys if you want to go forward with a plan to purchase it, is that something that you would support?
To me, I don't think the city should be in the business of buying property.
Yeah.
What if the city gets a theater donated to it, and then you own and operate some property?
There's a lot of costs
That's
involved
still
with that
yet.
too.
Still yet. That costs money.
In the ownership of properties like that, you're just not. That's not your.
That costs money, and I don't think that we should be involved in that.
And you're losing the property taxes of $130,000 commercial property. It's
Understand?
if the city owns it anyway.
Right.
That's the conversation that I think we've tried to have on this show. Is you look at the general theme of downtown. The Mariana Bank building went away, and
Right.
it became a city building, and they actually lease it to the county.
Right.
And it was gifted or given when a Mariana was purchased by First Merchants. They didn't need the downtown building anymore, so the city got that.
Right.
But now the city has maintenance. The city has, the city has all these responsibilities for that building, and it's not paying property taxes any longer.
Right.
Same thing with the castle. If you look at the castle and what it paid in property taxes last year, you start to lose tens of thousands of dollars in revenue just by having a few buildings shift from private to public ownership.
Right.
You look at the downtown core, and there's not a lot of buildings that are contributing.
No.
So just in general, even, because there's talk of other buildings, and there has always been talk of acquiring buildings on the city side throughout downtown for nothing else than to just try to increase the aesthetic of downtown. But you're saying we need to try to get private development in there.
Yes.
Beforehand.
I don't think it, I want downtown to be beautiful too. I want Newcastle to be beautiful. But I just don't think that the city needs to be in the business of doing that. We need to maybe try to get someone to move into that, but we don't need to take that on as a city.
So you ran for 8 years ago.
Yep.
This Jennings building project's probably been going on for close to that amount of time. Was that on the radar or a discussion at that time?
Really, it really wasn't. I mean, I didn't hear a whole lot about it like I have this time.
What are you hearing as you're talking? As you're talking, going door to door and hearing from folks, what are you hearing about the downtown, the 1400 Plaza, Jennings building?
1400 Plaza, I hear more about that than I do the Jennings building. Just a lot of people ask, what do we benefit from that? I'm not against making downtown beautiful. I think it looks good. I think it looks good. But I just don't think that we need to buy buildings.
Right. Yeah. We don't need to be in the business of property ownership as a government entity.
No, I don't think so.
So with so do you support the way that the current council and the mayor have handled Jennings and 1400?
Yeah.
Or
I can't say that I don't.
right.
I've not been able to hear a lot about it in the early, stages of it, but no, I'm not against what they have done. I think you just got to be very careful. You got to be very careful about it.
So what kind of things can the council do to help downtown if we're not going to be in the redevelopment business or the purchasing business? What can you do as a councilman to help cheer downtown on?
Well, I think one thing that we have to do, we have to try to sell our downtown. Now, will that ever happen? Trying to get people to come in. What I mean by that, probably not. Everything is kind of moved out onto Road 3. A lot of the buildings uptown, they're old. What buildings we do have, but there's just some way that we've got to try to get businesses to come there. And like I said, that's going to be a very hard thing to do. Very hard thing to do.
I know the downtown group. I got an email today saying that there are 40 businesses located downtown now.
I heard that.
There's the back porch is there. You've got Twin Lions. You've got a lot of eating and restaurants and things to do that I think are driving folks down here. And we've seen some other new businesses open up locally.
And I think that's good. I drove around by the back porch. I'm not a drinker, and I'm not against anyone that wants to drink, but it was good. It's pretty crowded. Good little crowd. So yeah.
Well, in the state of Indiana, makes them serve hamburgers and coffee and tea, so you don't have to be a drinker to go there. You can still get.
I understand.
You can still have your beef bouillon cube.
They've got a menu. They do have a grill. I think it closes an hour before they stop serving beer. But the food. I've not eaten in there yet, but the food smells really good. The burgers they're cooked down quick. Yeah, it looks good.
I haven't even talked to anyone that has.
I haven't eaten there. My parents.
They have an impressive urinal. If for nothing else, Mike, go in there and check out the bathroom. It's a beer keg. Right. It is well worth the trip in just to check that one out.
It's like a Jungle Jim's world famous bathroom.
Yep.
The Rumpke trash.
Yeah. The giant porta john.
That's it. Oh man.
That's funny.
Well, yeah. I mean, there are and Chris, you're on that board. They've got Wi-Fi downtown now. They've got a number of different things that.
Yeah. The Newcastle downtown.
Yeah.
So we have the Wi-Fi going. I think we're putting out Christmas decorations. That'll be discussed. We have a meeting tomorrow. We also want to bring up the potential of kind of like what Mike said, bringing businesses downtown where we put up signage and we make sure that people know where proper parking is and so on and so forth like that.
That's good.
So
there's that one new parking lot right off 14th Street.
Right across from Legends Nutrition. Yeah, it's really good.
I tried to use the bathrooms and it didn't work. You have to go back and listen to the Rex and
mayor
Aaron.
hasn't.
The lock was on there. It was.
They're locked up.
I couldn't. I went for the cruise-in, the last cruise-in they had, Mopar night, and I was like, I intentionally walked down to go check out the bathrooms down there. Like, I'm going to see what the new ones are like, and it was like when Mark Brim tried to get Weenie World. It was just sad disappointment.
We haven't seen the mayor out there with the giant scissors yet, so they're not open.
So Jacob Serber is in the chat watching and reading of the Thunderwolf podcast, and he says it's going to be difficult to sell the buildings. So how will the council do that? What can Newcastle offer to attract new businesses to establish downtown or to establish businesses here?
It's tough. It would be a tough market to try to sell buildings downtown. And I don't know. The council would just have to get together and see, what we could do.
Like trying to make the environment here more business friendly, working with Corey Murphy and the Economic Development Corporation, and
that'd be a start.
Yeah,
I know. We saw that one of the other downtown businesses just sold. There's the one on Broad Street.
Yeah, it's 2 lots west of Safe Games and the Hope Initiative, just sold by FC Tucker and the John Kindred crew.
Yeah, and it looked like
it's pending. Sorry.
So that's a few. I mean, we've seen a few properties move this year down in the downtown area. Interested to see what locates there because it's a massive building. It's 4 levels, and I think it was it's one of those that's got a long history. And I saw some pictures of the old gym that's upstairs in a previous era. Lots of opportunities. So we'll see. Yeah. You work in Rushville. Rushville's getting a brewery, but somebody told me not too long ago that Indiana is in Indiana, Newcastle is the biggest city that doesn't have a brewery or winery in its limits yet.
I believe it.
We are we've got to be right on the edge.
I mean, Fortville has Taxman.
Yeah.
That's a big brewery. Like everyone, half the country knows about Taxman Brewing Company. And they have a satellite location in Fortville.
We went to Albion, and Albion had one. I mean, it was tiny little map dot places have them. So
I didn't even hear that about Rushville. Of course, I don't hear a lot down there. But Rushville is
a stellar community, and they've spent a lot of time and effort. Mayor Pavey and Brian Sheehan, who's doing special projects down there. I mean, you've seen that they've got a new, almost a storefront set up on Main Street on 3 for their farmers market.
Yeah, it's kind of like hides that missing tooth. It looks real good.
It looks great.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's a nice plaza right across from the Radio Shack.
Right.
I like that analogy, hiding the missing tooth. That was a good one.
It looks.
It really does. That's a perfect.
It looks great, and that's cool.
There's a lot of orange barrels down there. I know they've got a new. There's a lot of investment happening in Rushville. It's been impressive for a community that didn't get an interstate. Right. You look at Indiana and the things that in the areas that we have. That's one of the issues Rushville has faced for generations. Is that Rush County didn't get an interstate. 74 went through Shelby County and 70 went through Henry County, and they got split. So it's just the reality of it. But it's been very interesting to watch how that community has flourished over the last 8 years in the Pavey administration.
It has.
So, all right. Well, what else have we skipped over that we probably ought to get into?
We've missed our last question here. Okay, you win the election, and we're celebrating, and you get sworn in, and it's time for you to serve on the council. What's the biggest thing on your punch list for 2020 to 2024?
I'm kind of big on clean. I think a city needs to be a little cleaner. Seriously, we traveling around, I see, and I know you guys have seen it, and I don't know how much people get involved, but like adopt a highway to clean. I feel like we could be cleaner in Newcastle and hopefully draw somebody from that. That's just something I would like to try to push and maybe head up. I know.
So
it might sound crazy, but
is that like a Saturday street cleaning thing? Is that more trash cans? What's that look like? How do you think? Is it a cultural thing? What do you do to make that happen?
I feel like you got to get the community involved. You have to get the people involved.
It's a cultural thing, and maybe also trying to make it easier for people to get things cleaned up, like adding the trash cans and things like that along the city sidewalks and places.
But and of course the green toter, that to me, I know that goes back a little ways, but it was, it's kind of cluttery looking, really. But anyway,
it's been a conversation about trying to get toters replaced and trash can lids replaced. What should they do? What's
with the toter?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do anything different now. I don't know. And I'm the same way about trying to get the trash cans repaired. They get beat up pretty good. But I'm not sure about that.
You ever heard how much faster it is to get a replacement from the private sector versus the city of Newcastle?
I haven't, no.
So I use Big B.
Yeah. I lived at H Avenue for 2 years. And as soon as I moved there, I asked for a new trash toter because I didn't have a lid. And then about a year later, I still hadn't had one. And I had 2 toters there. The other toter's lid also broke. So then I requested to have a second toter replaced. And I never got it either. And when I sold the house, I had 2 toters with broken lids.
Should have got a hold of your councilman.
I did.
I know.
It didn't work.
Real quick on the toters. I know that Lee has bought brand new lids, and so they're down at the street department. I don't know exactly when he got those in, but when I did a ride along with the street department, one thing that the guy driving the truck told me was what happens is people will overfill them and they'll throw the lids open. And then when they come in to put the pinchers,
It
lid
grabs them.
Well, yeah, the lid's bigger at the bottom where it grabs. And so then it crushes the.
Yeah, that's
the
what
lid.
happened to mine.
I don't doubt that it was Dakota's fault that he broke his lid. But I will say, I've had, with Big
was the
B,
wind.
I literally call and the next day the thing fixes because the hinges break on for mine.
Yep. Same
They
thing
fail
happened to mine.
at the hinge location, and typically I see it when I watched mine break. It was when they set it back down on the ground. It snapped it was cold and it snapped it or whatever.
Well, mine is the actually it wasn't the hinge; it was the wheel. The wheel casing itself that snaps onto the axle snapped whenever they set it down. So then I was missing a wheel. I'm like, how am I supposed to lug this all the way to the side of my house with one wheel?
Zach Burcham says, I got a new lid after Aaron Dickin threatened to give me his. So, all right. So looking globally, the services that the city provides, Big B is an option. There are communities that say, hey, you just pick any trash company you want to pick. Do you think, long term is city trash something that we should be doing? I know Rushville considered it 10 years ago, saying we don't need to have a trash you could have city provided trash that's a trash contract like Spiceland does, or you could say y'all just hire whoever you want to, or you have a city owned and operated trash service.
I'm not sure. I think it's something you would most definitely have to look into.
Have to take
I don't know.
some kind of a study.
Right. I don't know what all was done. I didn't even mean to bring up the green trash. Man,
No,
It gets brought up all the time.
Yeah,
It's a
I
Newcastle staple.
I don't know what all was done back when they brought that aboard.
we haven't even talked about large trash yet. We're just talking about small trash.
So, I don't know. I do remember that it was under Jim Small, and the comment was made to beautify Newcastle, and I don't know how that really came across to help beautify Newcastle, but because if you got a trash shelter, and some people, nothing against the people, they're just going to throw open trash into it. Lid's not working.
Not bag it, just toss
Get a
it
good
in.
windstorm.
Yeah.
All doesn't get dumped out. I'm just saying. But I didn't mean to bring up the toter.
Very fine. It's one thing we can all unite around as Newcastle citizens is that we all have broken trash toters.
Except for Zach Burcham, who,
Yes.
who magically got his fixed. If you show up at every city council meeting for 2 years and just sit in the front row and terrify them into you running for office, that might get you a new trash
Chris,
lid.
is that why you're running?
I tell you, I started sitting in meetings in probably mid-November last year. And I don't know. I think it took probably 8 to 10 meetings. And then somebody's like, hey, how you doing, man? I'm like, good. I'm just sitting here, man. Just sitting here.
Just watch it.
Just wondering what's going on. And then you can see them just start to wonder, what's this guy doing here?
Where do you live exactly?
Look at him.
Whose job are you trying to take?
What ward are you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Well,
Any word from our friend Clay Morgan?
no, nothing from Clay. He says which door. So yeah, I think we might have him. Yes.
So as we're talking about elections, Mike, what do you think is going to be the turnout for the local election?
Chris.
You think we're going to have astronomical numbers, or is it going to be so low that maybe 2 votes is going to take it?
Does it, as you've gone around and you've knocked on doors, has people been like, "There's an election? What?"
Yep. And that's scary, and it's sad because I've been voting since I was 18 years old, and the spring was the first election I haven't never voted in, and that's crazy. That's crazy. But Chris, your answer to that is you know what it is. I don't have to answer you on that.
Well, I know. I think it's going to be
All I can say, I tell everyone, get out and vote.
absolutely.
This is an exercise that right, because man, this is a right that it's a good right to have.
I hope people vote because I live in the county, but y'all have my my water and sewer, and you guys get to decide who makes the decisions for me. I'm like Washington D.C. taxation without representation at my house.
We just need everybody to get out and vote.
We're about to have a Jeffrey Street Tea Party.
I'm just gonna keep pouring stuff down the drain till it gets somebody's attention.
What's this guy doing?
So we just had a special special
Mr.
guest
Guffey?
walked in.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Councilman Clay, one of the OG co-hosts of the show, just showed up.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Just got back from county council meeting.
Yeah.
But first I want to say, Mr. Guffey here.
Is he looking dapper?
Well, he is. I've known him for a while. Me and him ran in the same year, wasn't it? 2011-ish?
Yeah, 8 years ago, I think, right?
Yeah. When you ran in the
City election.
primary for the
Primary.
city election. Yeah, Mr. Guffey. I've known him a while. Know his whole family.
So what's going on?
Well, so
My wallet feels lighter. What happened, buddy?
Yeah, right. It is 0.2% lighter. So last time I was on, we talked about the jail tax was coming, and it did pass. So I don't think
I heard it pass 5-1.
It did.
If people were watching the voice vote that was taken,
Yeah,
I heard it was 5-1, and one hero tried to stop it.
So I don't know that I would go there with it, but
I'm just telling you what I heard out of the room.
Yeah. So
you can be bashful if you want
here's
to.
the real situation, though, is, I'm looking at this and I know it's coming. I mean, because I've been dealing with the jail issue for so many years, and the county's not done what it needed to do. And we passed the public safety lit tax, and I watched it get squandered away over 3 years' time. And I'm, and there's other voices, but, I was saying, we have a jail issue to take care of. Why are we, spending all this money when we know we have a big issue ahead of us? And, when I wrote that letter, I got up the day of the public hearing, and I just wanted to put something down on paper because I didn't want to forget anything, and I didn't want to ramble, but I wanted to give my heart and how I felt about the whole situation, because I've been dealing with it since day one. And now the county sits with, unfinished projects going on that have taken, over $1 million of tax money, knowing we still had the jail issue. We've shifted money here. We've done this with the Lowit money that was for public safety. We still have a jail issue, so bottom line, I didn't give an explanation. I just kept my mouth shut and I just voted no. Not to be the hero, not to be the guy that, is standing strong, seriously, because, the honest truth is, knowing the budget, I was in an easy seat. I admit it. I get it. But we don't have the money to take care of what's in front of us. The people that were elected, they were elected to fix the problem. Unfortunately, there's no funds to fix it with. So them being new to the seat, mantled with the job, they did what they had to do. I'm, on the other hand, it was more of a statement on principle, because I did not want to raise taxes, right? But I have so many times, and I've seen it get shifted away, and I've been disappointed time after time. The only thing that I can say that we have something to show for is the road tax. When we did raise the plate tax, I mean, we do have a lot of county roads that are much, much better now. But other than that, we really don't have anything to show for the taxes we've raised, and that's extremely disappointing. So what this council did, I kept it to myself. I didn't really share, because you're not supposed to, what I was going to do. I kept it to myself until the vote. And I thought about giving a statement, but I didn't. I just kept quiet and just voted no. But what this council did, whether it was right or wrong, whether people like it or don't like it, I'm sure there'll be people on both sides. This council gave me the opportunity to vote the way I would like to vote according to a world as I wish it was, not according to the world as it is. Right? So they gave me that opportunity to vote no. Because with all my heart, I didn't want to. And knowing that they were going to pass it, knowing that the yeses had already been said.
It only takes 4 yeses.
It passed.
Yeah.
And the honest truth, they're just trying to do what they feel they need to do, because we're in a dire situation. Actually, I thought after our budget session, we could start making things a little bit better. But I'm Chicken Little, I guess. I mean, it looks worse. We're having some major problems, and I'm kind of scared about the future, to be honest with you. I really am. Found out tonight also that the insurance fund, we're right here, end of October, so we have 2 more months. Last year, in November's meeting, we found out we were like $750,000 short that we had to come up with in 1 month. We had to borrow from ourselves to pay that. This year, we're still trying to regain. And I found out tonight that we are at this time like around negative 400,000 in insurance fund
With 2 months to go.
With 2 months to go. So it's like, holy cow, So the good news is the changes that have been made, if we wouldn't have started in the hole, we'd be ahead $200 or $200,000. Excuse me. Yeah. $200. Yeah. $200,000. But because of last year, we're negative 400,000 with 2 months to go. I'm actually ended up going to be a part of a group. Me, Peg Steffendale and Ken and Gray are going to look at this and
the healthcare side,
the insurance, to the budget side of it, to see how we're going to come up with the money because we have to break even December 31st. We have to have that paid. So that's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. So there was it was an interesting council meeting tonight.
Are you guys going to look into getting out of the self-insurance game?
That I don't know. It has been discussed.
I know it was a discussion last year in November whenever we were 750,000 short.
Yeah. So the people that looked at just the self-insured side, okay, what I'm being told is it's still saving us rather than just going with all-out insurance, whatever you would call it. I don't know the terminology. However, I have been told that there are other options out there for other self-insurance options. Okay. So whether that'll be explored or not, I don't know. They're definitely looking at some other things to try to continue to help the fund. But see, here's the thing too, though. When Newcastle Schools redid their insurance, did the spousal carve out, the county gained.
You picked up people because the county, or there were folks that were on the school insurance that all of a sudden that dropped on.
Yeah, because they can get insured through the county now. So we've actually added to. So again, we're in kind of a pickle, as they say.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by. We're just we're getting ready to move into final thoughts.
Okay, hold on, real quick.
We're getting ready to move into final thoughts.
All I have to say, Clay.
Yeah,
there was one of your constituents who asked for a voice vote, like an individual vote,
a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. He did. I'm just saying, he sent you a message. He wanted a roll call vote, and that was not made.
Huh?
I think they should all have to say, yes, I'm raising your taxes. Give me your money.
Right when they vote,
I will say that when they did the public safety Lowit, they did a roll call vote.
Yeah,
and they all voted for it.
Yeah,
every last one of them.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's how it should have been.
Yeah. But I mean, the record shows that there was one lone no vote, and all the others present voted yes.
And to make it so clear, I mean, it would be cheesy. It would be easy for me to say I voted no, and I'm not going to do that.
We'll do it for you.
But on record, I am a no vote. I'm trying to finish my 2 terms on a good note. And again, I've voted yes for taxes before. I mean, I've made some hard votes. I've had people extremely mad at me for some of my votes. And I admit this one
it's a tough job, man.
This one was easy. It was, but at the same time, I'm thankful for that opportunity to vote no, to be honest with you, because I was able to express with my heart.
Your caucus leader is nicer than Nancy Pelosi is.
She is. Yeah.
I will also say that there for a second, me and Sean Defoe were sitting beside each other, and like nobody made a motion. We're just sitting there. We're like,
oh, it took a while.
And then
nobody was brave enough to say, I'm in favor.
Then Kenan made the motion.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting. I'm like, there needs to be a second.
Yeah.
10 seconds go by. Next thing I know, my county councilman, Chad Malico, he seconded that vote.
Et tu, Brutus?
Et tu, Brutus?
I voted for you, Chad.
And he talked to me afterward. He said, so you didn't explain your vote. He said, I know how you feel, but why'd you vote? Why, basically explain your vote. And because the honest, he truly, honestly, in his heart, his convictions, he wanted to vote no. But again, the truth is the reality of the situation, and it aggravates me to no end, is we had to do something. We have to do something. And here's what's scary. It's not even enough to do what needs to be done.
It's a drop in the bucket. I think you and I have had this conversation a number of times over the last couple of weeks, and I've said it on the show. I said it when Prosecutor Joe was here. I've told you, you all need to lead a revolt and have 1,000 local officials show up in January at the State House, and that's doing something.
Yeah,
it's like somebody mentioned that at the public hearing.
Somebody did mention that.
They've caused this problem, and they've put the bullet in your
Guffey.
They put the bullet in the gun. They put it in your hands, and they asked you to pull the trigger. And dutifully, our council just pulled the trigger and raised our taxes instead of going and fighting back at the state where they've caused this problem for you. But
and there is, and not to drag this out, but I do, I won't say I've frantically been sure, but I have tried to make some contacts, some people that understand that side of things a lot more than I do, and how to rally people, because it truly is a statewide problem. And I have a feeling that a lot of the state senators and representatives, if you just ask them personally about the issue, they would just say, well, we did give you an option, to raise your taxes.
Yeah, that's why I said you need to get the public on your side.
Right. Well, because I've actually been told that before. You and I, when we went to road funding day, I don't know if you remember this specifically, but one of the state senators was coming out, and he was, kind of chit-chatting with Nate Lamar because he knew they knew each other briefly, acquaintances. And I was standing there. I wasn't the one that said it. Somebody there said something to him about road funding. And his answer, and honestly, it was kind of arrogantly, well, we did do something. We gave you the ability to pass a tax.
Yeah, you can raise your wheel tax.
Yeah. And then he just left like that was a great answer. It's like, oh, thanks.
Meanwhile, the state was sitting on so much money.
But anyways,
that if they didn't spend it, they had to send out checks to all the citizens.
Yeah, we could have a whole new show on that.
Yes, you could.
Well,
we kind of hijacked Mike's show.
We did.
Sorry.
I think everybody will be back at some point. Producer Chris, you got any final thoughts for us?
Yeah.
You building an ark for Saturday?
If it doesn't rain, we will be walking. You can meet here at the 1102 Race Street about 8:30. 8 o'clock. We'll have donuts. I will bring them. Also, I'm very excited. Saturday night is the true, for me anyways, home opener for my Indy Fuel. The actual opener is Friday for the home, but I will not be there. So Saturday is the home opener for the Indy Fuel, and I'm so excited. It has finally come back. And then Sunday, I don't really have anything. Oh,
You want to go to church with me?
Nobody really needs the play-by-play on your
I'm sorry.
life, Chris. It's fine.
I'm actually going to church with the girlfriend and her parents.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at you.
And then another thing I would like to publicly on the air is here thank Jeremiah and Sarah for letting me intrude on their weekend down at Clifty Falls. I stayed the entire weekend, me and Paige, and
Wow.
we had a wonderful time.
Don't worry, guys. I'm going to bring him down a notch in my final thoughts.
No, you're not. But just I know where you're going.
Well, this was fun. All right. Hey, Councilman.
Yeah. I just got done talking, didn't I?
You got anything else?
But
Anything you need to promote?
Here's my final thought. Mr. Guffey.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I said, I've known Mike for several years. We'll put it that way. Many years I've known Mike, and he's a tremendous guy. Not in my district, or I would 100% vote for him. He's been around this community, been in this city. He has its best interests at heart. He cares deeply. Like I said, back when you ran the first time, we talked a lot.
Right.
You had a lot of great ideas and passion for it. You had passion for it. And then after that, life and job and circumstances is like, okay, I need to push the pause button. But as soon as I don't say, I'm not saying this to toot my horn, but to give him props. As soon as I found out that there's an opening here,
Right.
I immediately got a hold of him and I said, "Hey, there's an opening. Here's your chance. Go for it." And so we briefly talked about that, and then he got a hold of the right people. And so, again, can't say enough. If you live in his district, vote for him. He'll do a good job. He really will.
Very good. I haven't heard him promise any tax increases, so that's that got my attention.
It's better than some Republicans.
Read my lips.
And I don't like pasta in my chili.
There we go. See, you're winning me over, Mike. You're winning me over. All right. Anything else we forgot? Anything we need to cover?
Not as far as I know.
All right. If people want to help out with your campaign, donate, walk, to any of the last stuff, how do they get a hold of you and reach out?
Well,
get more information.
The card that I've been passing out does have my contact on the back of it, so they can get a hold of me that way. They all know that. If not, 622 South 22nd Street's where I live.
A lot of twos.
Come right there.
A lot of twos.
Come right there.
All right.
Do I get to say something on the final thought?
Yeah. This is it. This is your spot.
My turn now?
It's your turn.
Whatever you
You
want.
are on the spot.
Just what I want to say is just, I'd like to see a good turnout, but we know it's going to be low. We know it will be. But Ward 1, you got to get out there and vote. Exercise that right and vote. And vote for me.
And when you vote right.
Vote right. Yes.
Rex Bell used to say, keep voting until they make you quit. Just keep trying to go back. Until they make you stop.
And then after y'all get done walking for Chris over there, I'll buy you a hamburger. You can come and walk for me.
Just keep the Guffey train going.
We pretty much got it under control on my side.
Dakota?
All right, I'm going to shame Chris Guffey first of all because
Shameful.
we've been working out for like over 2 months now, and all this week he's been a no call, no show.
Yeah.
I thought you were being cold and distant, and you weren't talking to him and telling him about anything. And then I had lunch with him yesterday, and he said, "Yeah, I haven't gone. I don't know."
Did you say a month?
It's been over 2 months.
Over 2 months.
Yeah.
So when did the new girlfriend come along?
Look at him getting red in the face.
Oh, hold on. No, I
You
got to
can't
think.
see it, folks, but he's
He has turned
6 months?
red skin
6 weeks?
red.
We're 6 weeks now.
Little over a month, almost 2.
starting to get busy on me.
Somebody need to get in shape.
What a shame.
I'm in a shape. It's called round.
Other final thought is I want to say thank you to Clay for sticking with your convictions. I said before the show that I think you voted no because Chris Guffey, Jeremiah, and myself were all in the barbershop talking your ear off about how you just
I was downright abusive the last time.
If you want to lobby me, just let me cut your hair. Pay me $13 to cut your hair and lobby me all you want.
hold on to take credit for it because we went in there and said, Clay, Don't do it, man.
I gotta say, he said
For the love of God.
I'm gonna say he said he has to cut your hair. I took a lunch break and I come down there and I just sat in the chair and just talked to him.
That is true. That is
I did not get my hair cut.
Didn't even give him any money.
He has time to go in and talk to Clay, but he can't wake up and go work out.
Yep.
And then also, I have a Facebook page called Beezer Creek Restoration and Repair. You need to go like that page so you can see all my projects. And then I think, and I don't know this 100% like fact yet, but my wife has made like a wreath or 2 wreaths, and they're in our house. I think that she might be trying to sell those. I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm gonna go ahead and promote that.
You're gonna just start selling your wife's arts and crafts without her knowing it. I'll give you $10 for a wreath.
There's a reason that they're there. We don't need them. She's made them.
Is she making custom orders? I mean, is she doing Christmas wreaths? What are we doing?
I don't know
wreaths?
yet. I don't know yet. I'm just trying to say,
You
be
live
on
with the woman,
lookout.
right? You can just talk to her and she'll tell you what she's selling.
Yep. I could do that if I actually lived there, but some days it feels like I don't. It's been a crazy couple weeks. We'll just say that.
All right. Final thoughts from me. Congratulations to Roger Penske, one of my heroes. He got the Presidential Medal of Freedom today in the White House. So that's pretty cool. Penske Racing, Penske Enterprises, Penske Chevrolet, Penske Truck Rental, all things Penske. Very cool. An American treasure. So that's a cool one. And also congratulations to the Montreal Expos, who are winning the World Series 2-0. So I'm pretty damn excited. My childhood baseball team, now labeled as the Washington Nationals,
Exactly.
are leading the World Series 2-0, and they took both those games in Houston. So now they'll have the 2 games at home in Washington, and who knows?
It's amazing what happens when you get out of a bad relationship.
Oh shoot! Yeah, so that's been interesting. So we will be back next week on Wednesday, concluding the city council tour. I know Lisa Crosby is or Lisa Catron. Oh gosh, I check local listings.
Yeah.
Lisa Catron is she's gonna shoot me. Lisa Catron will be on Wednesday, and then I deserve it. And then maybe we'll get another surprise guest or 2 on there. We did extend an invitation to Jeff Hancock. He's got some conflicts, so it's not going to work out for him next week. But hopefully they'll both be at the forum on Tuesday next week as well. I know the local Chamber of Commerce has invited everybody that's on the ballot to do their forum. I think it's a library on Tuesday night.
Yeah,
so
the library auditorium at 6:30.
check that one out, and then we'll be back 7:00 on Wednesday night, continuing and wrapping up the city election cycle. So we'll see y'all then.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Hog of Liberty, which is part of the We Are Libertarians Network. I am Chris Spangle, and I am the founder of this network, and I invite you to listen to all of our shows, which you can find at wearelibertarians.com or by searching for these in your podcatcher. The flagship show is the We Are Libertarians podcast, where we apply libertarian principles to current events. The Brian Nichols Show is a conversation amongst Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, as they talk about what is happening in the news. And we have many other podcasts like The Chris Spangle Show, Upward, The Cost, Raw Audio Politics, Miranda's World, and Tad Talk, which is quite a ride. So check all of these out. Go to wearelibertarians.com and you can check out all of our great podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at wearelibertarians.com.